music. Alright guys, welcome to Card Sharks on the Riding 1279 channel. This is Riding 1279 and we have our two Card Sharks. Wait a minute. We have our two Card Sharkers ready to see if they can win $32,000. And I have a surprise for y'all when we get to the bonus round, and I will tell y'all more about that when we get there. But let's talk to our returning champion, Gary Newkirk, who has won $6,200 in one game. And he currently has his music on right now, so he's going to be typing in the chat box as we're reading the questions. And we have our challenger, Steve Mankay, okay? Alrighty, and I'll explain the rules of the game real quick to the YouTube audience, and it goes like this. What these guys are going to do is the first part, they're going to try to answer some high-low questions. And whoever wins the high-low question will get a chance to play at the cards, in which they must go across the board and predict whether the next card is higher or lower than the ones before it. Whoever gets to the end of the board and predicts what the last card is will win the game at $500. It takes 2 games to win a match, and the first to win 2 games will win $1,000, and it will go to the money cards at $32,000 plus a big surprise in the 7-card game. I will not tell y'all it until we get there. So.
Well, that makes sense, because otherwise it wouldn't be a surprise.
Right. So, Gary, you're playing the blue cards, and Steve is playing the red cards, and I wish the both of y'all good luck, okay? The first question always goes to the champion, and it is Gary. And he'll be using the chat box. So here's your question, Gary. Gary, we asked 100 women, have you ever loved a dress when you bought it and hated it the first time you wore it and never wore it again? How many women said they have?
I don't think you heard the question.
Okay, I'll read it again. Oh, he heard it?
He says he heard it.
Okay.
I think maybe he's asking for you to repeat it.
Okay. We asked 100 women, have you ever loved a dress? Well, he's writing it in.
He says he's thinking of an answer.
You'll say 56. Okay, 56, Gary said. Now, Steve, you think that number is higher or lower than 56?
I'm going to go lower.
Going lower than 56. Okay, Steve, if it is lower than 56, you'll play your card. If not, it goes to Gary. Okay? The actual number of women that said they have brought a dress but they never wore it again is... It is 66. It is not lower at the time, so Gary gets his chance at the cards. Alright, Gary, here's your opening card. You got the privilege of changing it because you won the question. Gary, your card is a king.
Lower.
Lower than the king. It's an 8. 7 plus 1.
Freeze.
He's freezing on the 8, keeping Steve away from his cards. And guys, I forgot to say there are jokers in the deck. If you pull up the jokers, it's a $1,000 bonus, but you must win the match to claim it. Okay. Steve, your question. Steve, we asked 100 5th grade boys in Pennsylvania, if you were a policeman and the driver you stopped for speeding turned out to be your father, would you give him a ticket? That is funny, ain't it, Steve?
I think it is.
Yeah. What we want to know is how many 5th graders said they would give him a ticket anyway?
All those poor children must feel so bad with the way their father punished them probably today, and if eventually gives them a ticket. I don't know about that. That's a good one. Let's see.
Well, it doesn't matter. But regardless of whether it's their father or not, they still broke the law.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna try like a middle number, and I'm gonna say 35.
Going with 35. Gary, what do you think?
Higher.
Higher than 35. Okay. Let's check it out. The actual number of fifth grade boys that said they would give the father a ticket anyway is 68. It is higher. Good job, Gary. All right, Gary, you have the 8. What do you want to do with it?
Change it.
When you win the question, you can change your base card. The 8 becomes a 3. Good change.
Higher.
Higher than a 3. It's a 6.
I'm going to freeze again.
Keeping Steve away from the cards. Gary, you playing well.
Higher.
Well, you froze. Is that your decision?
Yeah, I'm going to say froze.
Okay, so you froze on the 6. Okay. All right, here's your question.
Higher.
Gary, we asked 100 Marines. Do you think the Marine Corps could do a better job running this country than the government is doing? How many Marines said they could do a better job? Very sensitive question for me. But what do you think about it?
63, he says.
He's going with 63. Thank you, Mark. All right, Steve, higher or lower than 63?
Higher.
Going higher. Okay.
Interesting there.
It is interesting. Let's check it out. The actual number of Marines that said they could do a better job than the government is doing is 38. It's not higher, it's lower, so Gary gets it. All right, Gary, you have the 6. What do you want to do with that 6?
Change.
All right, he's changing the 6. The 6 becomes a king.
Nice. Lower.
Lower than the king. It's a 9.
Freeze.
Freezing on the 9 and keeping Steve away from the cards again. And this is the 4th and final question. Somebody must win on this player, the cards, and control is critical. And Mark, I believe you were about to say that this happened before. Alex Hull did the same thing. He won the game with not doing anything. Is that what you were about to say?
Well, kind of close. What I was about to say is I think there was one episode we did on your side one time where I won the match despite only winning one question the whole game.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Remember that at all?
Yeah, I remember it. This was this season, right?
I'm not sure if it was in this season or in the first one, but I know that happened one time.
Oh, okay. Well, Steve, here's your question. Steve, we asked 100 college sorority women, have you ever enrolled in a course just because you thought the professor was attractive? How many co-eds admit they have?
Wow. Can you repeat it one more time just for that?
Sure. We asked 100 college sorority women, have you ever enrolled in a course just because you thought the professor was attractive? How many co-eds said they admit they have?
I'm going to go with 30.
Going with 30. Gary, higher or lower than 30?
Higher.
Going higher, okay. This is an important decision, so let's check it out. The actual number of co-eds that admit they have enrolled in a class because the professor was attractive is 57. It is higher. Good job, Gary. Now, Gary, here's the situation.
Probably a woman.
Huh?
The professor is probably a woman.
Well, it said they asked 100 women, Mark. So it couldn't have been a woman.
Women. Oh, okay. Then the professor is probably a man.
Right. But anyway, Gary, here's the situation, Gary. You have a 9 showing. You can change that 9 if you want to, but you have one card to go in order to win the match. Steve has not turned over a card yet. He has to turn over all 5 cards in order to win the game.
I'm passing my turn to Steve.
I think that's a fair move. So Steve, you'll see your opening card, but you don't get to change it. You have to go through all 5 cards in order to win the match, or the match goes to Gary, okay? Steve, your opening card is a queen.
Lower.
Lower than a queen. It's a jack.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. It's an 8. 7 plus 1. This is a tough one here. What do you think, Steve?
Lower.
Lower than an 8. It's a 6. One more to go.
Lower.
Lower than the 6. Okay. If it is lower than the 6, you'll win your first game in a great comeback. If not, Gary wins the first game in $500. Lower than the 6, it's a 2 and you won the game, Steve! Unbelievable!
Wow! Gary, only one card play and Steve is back.
Wow! Gary, I just want to say to you, I would have done the same thing. I would have passed it to Steve too. And also, Steve, not only that, you went against the odds on a 6. Way to go!
Now, hang on, Steve. I'm going to do this Price is Right style. Roger, has that happened before?
Well, wait, when?
He says it has not.
No, it hasn't. I'll put it in the book. But guys, anyway, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll do round 2 of Card Shark. Stay tuned. Good comeback, Steve.